And now to the FBI raid at the Florida home of former President Trump. It started early Monday morning. The raid is part of the investigation into the handling of presidential documents Trump is accused of taking from the White House when he left office. Some of them were classified. On Monday night, Trump issued a statement saying his beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago, is under siege. The search appeared to focus on the club where the former president lives and works. Professor Tonya Krause Phelan from Western Michigan Cooley Law School joins us now to talk about what happened. And first, as a criminal defense expert, what is your reaction to the Justice Department's decision to request the raid?
Well, first we have to remember that for law enforcement to be able to execute a search warrant, they have to go through a judicial process to do that. First, the law enforcement officers will have to prepare a document called an affidavit that sets forth facts that law enforcement believes would allow the judge to conclude that the evidence they're asking to look for will be in the location they're asking to look for. And then they take that document to a judge or a magistrate, and the judge or magistrate has to review that document to ensure that it meets the legal standard of probable cause. And if the judge makes that conclusion, then the judge authorizes the search, and then law enforcement is authorized to take that search warrant and go to the location and conduct a search.
Now, despite those steps, some Republicans are calling out the legitimacy of this FBI investigation. They're calling them into question for carrying out the raid.
Well, I think there is a political backstory that's going on alongside the judicial and legal aspect of this issue. So the legal issue will work its way through the law enforcement preparing the affidavit as they're required to, and a judge making a decision that probable cause exists. That's a legal decision, not a political decision. And there's an added layer here that it's important for people to remember, that for this level of person, Donald Trump, the former president, to be the subject of an investigation and a search, there are extra layers of protection put into the investigative process. In other words, probably Merrick Garland was reviewing what was happening, as well as the FBI head. And they're not going to let, legally speaking, that type of search occur if they're not sure that they can establish the probable cause for the search warrant in the first place.
Now, this afternoon, State Representative Steve Carra from Three Rivers said he would request the state legislature to, quote, urge Congress to investigate the FBI about how we can rein in the powers of this heinous agency. Your reaction to that?
Well, again, I think that that's a political observation, and that's beyond the area of my expertise. I can tell you as a defense lawyer who used to handle federal criminal cases, what I've observed so far has been according to the book, right? So the law enforcement agents prepared the affidavit, they put the information in there that they thought equaled probable cause, and it received judicial oversight. So it wasn't the FBI just acting on its own. They followed protocol, not only statutory protocol, but what the Fourth Amendment requires, right? That they get a search warrant. And so when the dust settles on this, there may be, through the oversight process, a review of how this all happened. And if criminal charges are filed, then certainly there will be additional legal oversight through a criminal case that happens with respect to the affidavit and the search warrant.
Certainly a lot to keep track of in this case
Yes.
and in the coming days. Thank you so much, Tonya Krause Phelan from Western Michigan Cooley Law School, for your insights this afternoon.
My pleasure.